Hi everybody, welcome back. First of all, in my last video, I was talking about pixels, and I said that pixels are all the same size, which is true, and I also said pixels are all the same color, which is couldn't be farther from the truth. I don't know where that came from, but I wanted to correct that. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is a body of evidence. You know, it's one thing for me to show you pictures, and I try to find the very best pictures and the most anomalous things, and I'll colorize them and point things out and so on and so forth, and I'll say, well, gee, you know, there's a mass of civilization here, which is, you know, so preposterous, right? Because it's Mars. We all know there can be no civilization on Mars. But, you know, what it is, it's a body of evidence. And if you look long enough and hard enough, and sometimes it's not all that hard, but if you spend the time to look at this large body of evidence, then you'll start to understand when I try to say that there's a massive civilization here. Somebody I know told me it was the place is overpopulated, and I would really have to agree. Right now we're looking at a tank. This was in one of my early videos. I redid it because it was such a poor job previously. It looks like a pre-World War I battle tank with a open turret and somebody standing in the turret with his arms crossed and a helmet on and his sleeves rolled up. I mean, that's what it looks like. If you look at the front of the tank, there's a pipe coming out the side, out of a square hole out the side. Looks like maybe an exhaust. And then also the actual gun is on the body of the tank, like a pre-World War II tank. It's a very kind of low tech. Looks like a tank to me. This hill was in one of my earlier videos also, there's so much stuff here. Behind this hill is what I call Gale City. It's an enormous city. This panorama goes way off to the right and to the left as well. And all these areas that I circled have very strange things in them. And I'm going to start with the bottom right. The bottom right circle there. You know, this is what you see almost in every single picture. And this is just one piece of the whole foreground. But this is in virtually all the pictures that I show you, there's this tan foreground that looks like rocks or sand or whatever, or combination. It's not. It's these little buildings. Look at this. My new technique helped me clear this up quite a bit. Pause and look at this. These are structures everywhere. Here about the 9 o'clock position is a little craft. I don't know what it looks like. A craft. It looks like it's attached to something. And down below it is a pedestal for whatever. I don't know. But it appears to be attached, and it looks like it will detach, and it looks like it can go places. You know, it doesn't look like it's just sitting there. You know, another anomaly. So here's another great anomaly. I've tried to show this a lot. It's so strange, and it's quite large. Again, it's really hard for me to scale the size on this thing, but also want you to look at the surrounding area. Look at this pipe stuff all in the front. Look at all those pipes going everywhere, which way. You know, these aren't pixels or rocks or anything weird. It is what it is. And then there's the opening there. There's a pedestal that thing sits on, and the opening looks like it's big enough to drive tractor trailers in. Okay, so how big is this thing? I don't know. You know, I really don't know. Gonna have to find a way to try and scale things. I gotta know. That thing looks like it could be, you know, 10, 15 stories high. You know, it's really hard to say. This is also in the middle of that hill area. It's the part of the PUD, which previously I said is a place that's designed to pump water over to the city on the other side. They take it out of the ground. Somebody told me once that this looked like a pile of logs. I don't think it looks like a pile of logs anymore, thanks to my new technique. You can actually see the individual windows or rooms going across in the dark area there, and not to mention the pipes going up, and it's a pretty good detail now. And again, there's all kinds of stuff in the foreground as usual. You can see individual structures there. This is something that has always been difficult to see. It's a I don't know what it is. It looks like a big pump to me, and it looks like it's kind of taken apart a little bit too. And I've really had to colorize this for people to see it. Otherwise, you know, they would give up. But if you would take the time and just pause and look for a while and go in and crawl around on that thing, you'll begin to see the shape and understand, you know, where everything is going. It's always true in every picture. You know, I can't fully share with you what you're looking at in a matter of, you know, 15 seconds or less. You know, at the same time, I can't make 2-hour-long videos either, so nobody would watch them. Not that anyone is anyway. This is one of my recent ones, and one of the best ones of all, I think. Pretty clear. It's called Vera Rubin Ridge. It's supposed to be a study in erosion. Pretty funny story there, actually. That's what they say. But at first I thought these were cranes. That's kind of what they looked like, you know. Really, in a lot of ways, looked just like cranes. But as usual, I take the time and I start looking at it, and I get in and start walking around, and, you know, that arm sticking out on the left comes back as a tube and spins its way around that tower down into some buildings. And I think that dark figure in the background there is a ship. There's nothing on the horizon or any terrain that looks anything like it. And I think that ship docks with that arm, and people disembark by the hundreds or thousands, go down that tube, and then disperse around from there. This picture is just an amazing picture. It's one of the very best. It's the closest thing to clear that we have. And again, with my new technique, I'm going to try not to mention that anymore. Really cleared it up a lot. And you can, again, see the individual little buildings that you used to think was terrain is buildings. I can't emphasize enough to take the time to pause. You know, don't believe me. That's fine. Check it out for yourself. It's amazing. There's so much humanity here in this one picture. I just can't get over it. The structures are pretty crisp now, and there's so many of them. And this is the burning building. And again, it's pretty clear this time. These little gray buildings, which of course the gigapan turned into rocks, these buildings are multiple structures built very, very closely together, and they tend to have like a sawtooth design. But I want to ask you a question. What does it take to have fire? It takes fuel, got to have something to burn, right? And it takes oxygen. So I don't know, you know, this is a picture of Mars, and not supposed to be oxygen there, not supposed to be buildings here either, but there's a fire burning there. This is the shuttlecraft. This is down in front of the structure on the hilltop, and again, you can really see all the right angles and all the little buildings all clustered in all around here. There's just so much there. And then the shuttle or the bus or whatever you want to call it, you know, it's pretty anomalous. Just sitting there, I don't know what to say about it. It looks like, well, to me, it looks just like the shuttlecraft from Star Trek. You know, this is a photograph from Cape St. Vincent in Victoria Crater, and I got this photograph from Eagleman725, who did a fantastic video on this location. And actually there have been quite a few videos by other people all in this area, because it is crazy anomalous, and you're just getting one picture of it. You know, this is what compelled me to do my first video, because I found a woman walking or jumping on the rocky ledge here, and so I named my first video "The Jumping Woman from Mars." But she's absolutely there. And again, you know, pause the video. Don't believe me. Take the time and look for a while. I put her in white, which wasn't a very good idea, because there's something very reflective behind her, and it kind of makes it all go together. But But up at about the 11 o'clock position is something that I've tried to bring out before, unsuccessfully. It's the weirdest thing ever. I called him Cartoon Coyote. It's a disproportionate head. There's a left arm. Take a look at it for a while. You know, it is really, really weird. That's all I can say about it. It's worth taking the time. It's one of probably the most anomalous thing I've seen. Thanks a lot, folks, for watching. See you again soon. Bye-bye.